This is Chris McDaniels. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels, and follow me on all my social media accounts, so I'll be down there in the description box. And I'm here to do my WWE NXT February 18th, 2025 reviews. So here we're going to be discussing about NXT. Now we kick off the show with the NXT champion, Femi. He comes out there, and yeah, he gets straight to business, and he starts calling out the four guys that went ahead and attacked him this past Saturday at Vengeance Day after he had his triple threat match against Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for the NXT Championship. But instead of those four guys coming out there, all of a sudden the lights go out, and then out comes the TNA X Division champion, Moose. Moose appears on NXT tonight. He comes down to the ring, and yeah, he was telling Femi that he's not the ruler of him, and that, you know, he can't pop this bubble. So yeah, that's what he was saying there. And then Femi was like, well, you know, while you get your bubble on in one company, he says in this ring, you know, he's unstoppable pretty much. So yeah, that's what Femi was saying there. And then Moose tells him that eventually it's going to have to be Femi versus Moose. And Femi was like, yeah, it's going to be that eventually. And then they both hold up their titles. So yeah, pretty good segment with Moose interrupting Femi tonight. I really liked it. It was a pretty good segment to kick off NXT, but yeah, it was a big surprise that Moose has now appeared in NXT, and you know what, I really like it. Definitely can't wait to see that match between Moose and Femi, because that one's going to be insane right there. But yeah, that's what happened there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening tonight on NXT, but next will be Jada Parker versus Kelani Jordan versus, I think, Sol Ruka in a triple threat match up next on NXT. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening tonight on NXT, and later on tonight we're going to be seeing Ricky Starks on NXT as well, if he does still use that name. But I'll see you guys later. Until the next thing that happens on NXT, I'll see you guys later. So then. So the next thing to happen on NXT, we get to the first match of the night. But before we talk about that first match of the night, we got to talk about a segment that happened earlier today, apparently. So yeah, we've seen Eddie Thorpe talking to the NXT general manager Ava backstage, and Eddie Thorpe was talking about how good he is and how he needs to get more opportunities and all that, because he defeated Trick Williams in the strap match at Vengeance Day this past Saturday. So yeah, that's what Eddie Thorpe was saying. But then all of a sudden, Kel Dixon and Aura Connors comes in there, and they was talking to Ava, talking about how she should come to their party and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, while that was going on, Eddie Thorpe did not appreciate them, because they said that Eddie Thorpe should come there as DJ and all that, and he was getting all pissed off because he was talking about how, you know, they just had the biggest win of his career and all that stuff, and they wanted him to be a DJ. And then they was talking about, well, how about on the behalf of Andre Chase, you have a match against him. So yeah, it looks like later on tonight it's going to be Andre Chase versus Eddie Thorpe one-on-one. But yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we get to the first match of the night. It was Carmen Petrovic versus Jada Parker versus Kelani Jordan in a triple threat match. Ashante the Adonis was at ringside for Carmen Petrovic. So yeah, it was a triple threat number one contenders match. Winner of this match becomes a number one contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship. So yeah, that's what this match is all about. So yeah, we get to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good one. All three of these women beating the hell out of each other. At one point, Carmen Petrovic actually gets taken out by Jada Parker, where she was like wedging into the corner, and then Jada Parker jumps on her, like with her ass hitting her in the chest and all that stuff. And then while Jada Parker was taunting and all that stuff, all of a sudden Kelani Jordan climbs up the top turnbuckle, but then Ashante the Adonis drags Kelani Jordan out of the ring to save her pretty much, and then Jada Parker quickly jumped up there on the top turnbuckle, superplexing Kelani Jordan off the top turnbuckle. She wedged her in the corner, does the same thing to her as well, taking her out, and then she was taunting and all that stuff, but then Ashante done threw Carmen Petrovic back into the ring, and that's when Carmen actually rolls up Kelani Jordan like a jackknife cover, pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Carmen Petrovic defeated Jada Parker and Kelani Jordan tonight in the triple threat match, and she is now the number one contender for the NXT Women's North American Championship, where she'll be facing Stephanie Vaquer next week on NXT. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that match ended, we see Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix, Fatal Influence, coming into the ring attacking Carmen Petrovic after the match, and they was beating her down and all that, 3-on-1. Ashante the Adonis was trying to help her and all that stuff, but then like he actually got separated, and I think it was JCJ that hit Ashante in the back with the steel chair, taking him out, and they threw Carmen out of the ring, beating her down and everything. But then this is all during the commercial break and all that stuff with the picture-in-picture, where we actually see Fatal Influence in the ring and everything. And Fallon Henley done grab the mic and she starts talking, but we don't hear what she's saying because it's on commercial and all that stuff with the picture-in-picture. And then all of a sudden we see the NXT Women's North American Champion Stephanie Baker and the NXT Women's Champion Julia coming down, and they get into the ring, and all of a sudden we see Fatal Influence attacking Stephanie Baker and Julia at the same time. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Crazy stuff. And then while we see Fatal Influence beating down Julia and Stephanie Baker, all of a sudden Jordan Grace comes running down, saving Julia and Stephanie Baker, taking everybody else out, taking Fatal Influence out, and then she grabs the mic, and then she says that them three are ready to fight. It looks like the other three is ready to fight, so how about tonight? It'll be Fatal Influence versus Jordan Grace, Stephanie Baker, and Julia in a 6-women's tag team match on NXT. And yeah, it looks like that match is now set. But yeah, crazy stuff to kick off the show right there for that match, and what happened after the match. I will give it all 3.5 stars. That's why I'll give it pretty good stuff. But yeah, the 6-women's tag team matches later on tonight. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on NXT. See you guys later. Till then. And I did forget to mention one more part where after that match ended. So yeah, after Carmen Petrovic actually picked up the win, she did get attacked from behind by Jada Parker, and then also Kehlani Jordan takes out Jada Parker, and both of them continue on brawling, and they roll out the ring brawling, I guess, through the crowd and all that. So yeah, I forgot to mention that part, but that's what happened to Kehlani Jordan and Jada Parker after the match, and then that's when Fatal Influence came in there attacking Carmen Petrovic. So yeah, once again, also NXT, forgot to mention that part. So yeah, see you guys later. Till then. So the next thing to happen on NXT, we get to a segment backstage where we see Channing Stacks Lorenzo getting ready for his match against Shawn Spears, and then Luca Crucifino and Adriano Rizzo comes up and he's talking to them, talking about how he couldn't get in contact with the Dawn and how they couldn't get in contact with him either. So he says he's out there to handle some family business. So yeah, that's what Stacks was telling him and tells him to come along. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we get to the next match of the night. It was Sol Ruca and Zarya versus Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, Metaphor, in a tag team match. So yeah, we get to this tag team match. This match, it was a pretty good one, but then at the ending of this match, we see Lash Legend and Zarya going back and forth at it. They both hit headbutts on each other, and then Jakara Jackson got tagged in. Jakara comes in there, but then Zarya picks her up, tossing her into Lash Legend, knocking Lash Legend out of the ring, and then that's when Zarya hits a spear onto Jakara Jackson, picks her up, hits the F5 onto her, tags in Sol Ruca, and then Sol hits the Soul Snatcher onto Jakara Jackson, pinning her for the 3 count. So yeah, Zarya and Sol Ruca defeated Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend Metaphor tonight in a tag team match. That's what happened there. Pretty good tag team match. For that match, I'll give it 3 stars. That's why I'll give that one. But yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we see Sarah Schreiber interviewing Wes Lee backstage, and Wes was talking about the landscape of changing and stuff with NXT, but he says it's all still the same when people are text random people in the parking lot and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what he was talking about there. But then all of a sudden we see Ricky Starks walking backstage, and then Sarah goes up to interview him instead, and then Ricky was talking about how he likes the sound of signing his first ever WWE NXT contract, and that's what he's going to go out to do. By the way, they didn't say his name at all, so we'll probably hear his name, probably new name, up next on NXT. But for right now, I'm calling him Ricky Starks, as of the moment at least. So yeah, up next we're going to be seeing Ricky Starks on NXT signing his NXT contract. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing to happen on NXT, we get to the next segment of the night where we see the NXT General Manager, Ava. She comes down there to the ring, and she got the contracts in the ring, and, then we see Ricky Starks. He makes his way out there. Now, obviously, he don't got a theme song, so he's coming out to the NXT theme song. By the way, we still don't know his name at the moment right here. So, yeah. So, I'm just going to be calling him Ricky Starks at the moment. So Ricky Starks comes out there, and Ricky Starks was talking about how, that everything can now be a reality. He was talking about how the reality is that he's at NXT. He says that the reality is about to be is that he's going to be main eventing all the NXT PLEs. And then he says another reality is going to be is that he's going to win the NXT championship. So yeah, that's what Ricky Starks was talking about. But then he was talking about how he's going to go ahead and sign the contract. But before he can sign the contract, all of a sudden he gets interrupted by all ego Ethan Page. Ethan Page comes out there and Ethan Page tells him that he's playing by Ethan Page's playbook, and he says that he's trying to get his way to the NXT championship, but he says that he's no Ethan Page. And yeah, that's what he was talking about there. But then Ricky Starks was talking about how that they knew each other for a while and all that stuff. But then he says that the spotlight ain't as big for the two of them, and he says that as far as he knows, the Page has problems with Javon Evans, and he says that he knows people like Javon Evans that they eventually keep on coming back. And then Ethan Page is about to start talking about Javon, but then all of a sudden Javon comes up from behind, attacking Ethan Page, knocking him out of the ring, and then both of them starts brawling. They go through the crowd brawling and everything, and then Ricky Starks is like, okay, well, whatever about that. He says, I'm going to go ahead and sign my contract. And before he can even sign the contract again, this time he gets interrupted by Wes Lee. Wes Lee comes out there, and Wes gets into the ring and he tells Ricky to go ahead and sign the contract. And he says that, there's going to be some issues because he says that one thing that Ricky's going to have to learn is that, that nobody interrupts Wesley. So yeah, that's what Wesley was talking about there. And he says that he wants Ricky to sign the contract and they can face off next week. And Ricky was like, oh, okay, well, we could face off. And then he says that you could be a part of the Revolution. So, yeah, that's what Ricky Starks says. He says that he's going to sign the contract, and they can have their one-on-one match next week. And then he opens up the contract. He's about to sign it, but then Wesley tries to attack Ricky. But then Ricky, punches Wesley in the face and then clotheslines him over the top rope. And then a couple of refs starts carrying away Wesley while he's trying to fight past him and try to get into the ring. But while that's happening, Ricky Starks finally signs the contract, and now he is a part of NXT now, and this time we finally get his name. His name is Ricky Saints. Yeah, Ricky Saints. I don't know why he couldn't keep Ricky Starks as a name, but you know what? Whatever. What can you do? His name's still Ricky. So yeah, Ricky Saints is now officially part of NXT. So yeah, you know what? I'm perfectly fine with the name. I see on social media that a lot of people don't like the name. But you know what? It's okay. Because apparently people was thinking that he was going to have that name, Trill London. So thank God he didn't have that name at least. But yeah, his name is Ricky Saints, and he is now officially a part of NXT. So yeah, he signed a contract, and it looks like next week he'll be taking on Wesley one-on-one. But yeah, that's what happened there. And then after that, we see the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazer and Axiom, getting interviewed backstage. They was talking about their match this past Saturday at Vengeance Day against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. But then all of a sudden they get interrupted by No Quarter Catch Crew, Miles Bourne, Tavion Heights, Charlie Dempsey, and Ren St. Clair. And, Nathan Frazer and them was talking about, hey, if you want a tag team title match against the best tag team, then you got to earn your tag team title match. So yeah, that's what he was talking about there. But then all of a sudden Miles Bourne was talking about how they are there to face the greatest tag team possibly of all time. And then all of a sudden Tavion Heights tells the cameraman to come up closer, and he starts talking to the camera, talking about how No Quarter Catch Crew challenges the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Hardy Boys. Yeah, Matt and Jeff Hardy. So yeah, maybe it looks like next week the Hardy Boys will be coming to NXT. It's going to be some wild stuff. But yeah, up next we're going to be seeing Shawn Spears versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo one-on-one up next on NXT. So yeah, that will be the next match of the night. And later on tonight, we're going to still be seeing the 6-women's tag team match in the main event tonight on NXT as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys later until the next thing that happens on NXT. I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing that happened on NXT, we see Ricky Saints walking backstage, and then he walks upon a lot of people laid out backstage, like Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura, and much more people. See, a lot of people's laid out, apparently from that new group, that new faction that came in at Vengeance Day. Yeah, they done laid everybody else out. So yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we get to the next match of the night. It was Shawn Spears with Nico Vance, Brooks Jensen, and Izzy Dane versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo with Luca Crucifino and Adriano Rizzo, the D'Angelo family, in a one-on-one match. So yeah, we get to this match. This match, it was pretty decent. The ending, Stacks was going at it with Shawn Spears. He lays him out. He climbs up the top turnbuckle. He jumps off with a missile drop kick onto Shawn Spears, but he was pretty hurt, like his neck area and stuff during this match. And then he picks up Shawn Spears, trying to suplex him, but then Spears reverses it by picking up Stacks and then dropping him right onto his knee. And then he picks up Stacks on his shoulders, hitting the C4 onto Stacks, pinning him for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Shawn Spears defeated Channing Stacks Lorenzo tonight in a one-on-one match. That's what happened there. For that match, I'll give it 2.5 stars. That's why I'll give that one. But yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, backstage, we see the TNA X Division champion Moose walking around backstage, and then he comes across the NXT Heritage Cup champion Lexis King. Lexis King was talking about how Moose might be upset that he defeated his friend JDC last week on NXT. Then he says that, a lot of these TNA guys want to come to NXT, but yet they want to be challenging for NXT titles, but never want to put their titles on the line. And the Moose was like, look, don't approach me like that, but if you want a title match, fine, you can have that title match. You can face me next week on NXT for the TNA X Division Championship. So yeah, that's what he tells Lexis King there. But then after that, we see Andre Chase backstage, and he is talking to Dixon and Connors backstage. And yeah, Kel Dixon and Aura Connors, and he was upset that they got him into a match and everything, and they was telling him what Eddie Thorpe said about him and all that, and then he got fired up, and then they was like, yeah, that's the Andre Chase we know. And now Andre Chase kind of like cooled down. He says, fine, I'm gonna get out there and do this. So yeah, up next it'll be Andre Chase versus Eddie Thorpe one-on-one up next on NXT. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Till then. So, the next thing to happen on NXT, we get to the next match of the night. It was Andre Chase versus Eddie Thorpe one-on-one. So, yeah, we get to this match. This match was going decent. During this match, we see Kel Dixon and Aura Connors coming down to ringside supporting Andre Chase by wearing Chase U shirts and all that stuff. And then Andre Chase was actually getting the upper hand, beating down Eddie Thorpe, and then he was about to do his stomps with the chants and all that, but then he stops in his tracks. And then all of a sudden, that's when Eddie Thorpe takes advantage, beating down Andre Chase, hitting a nice German suplex onto him, getting a 2 count out of that, but then eventually picks him up, hitting the lift-up DDT onto Andre Chase, pinning him for the 3 count. So yeah, Eddie Thorpe defeated Andre Chase tonight in a one-on-one match, but then after the match ended, the lights kind of like dimmed down, and then all of a sudden Trick Williams appears on the big screen, and he says that he's not through with Eddie Thorpe yet. So yeah, that's what Trick Williams tells Eddie Thorpe by sending him a message to him. So yeah, that's what happened there. But for that match, I'll give it 2 stars. That's why I'll give that one. But yeah, that's what happened there. But then after that, we see Ricky Saints talking to the NXT general manager Ava backstage, and while he was talking to her backstage, all of a sudden Ethan Page comes up arguing with, well, actually not arguing with him really. Ricky Saints was like, "Oh, come on, man!" And then Ethan Page was like, how he was wanting to talk to Ava about Javon Evans and stuff. And then all of a sudden we see Wesley coming up, and Wesley has issues with Ricky Saints and all that, talking about how he wants to deal with him and all that. And then Javon Evans tries to come up and attack Ethan Page, but he's getting held back by security guards. And yeah, everybody was about to brawl, but they was getting held back. And it looks like next week on NXT will be Ricky Saints and Javon Evans taking on Ethan Page and Wesley in a tag team match up next week on NXT. That'll be Ricky Saints' NXT in-ring debut. So yeah, that's what's happening there. But then after that, we see Matt and Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boys, appearing. Actually, it was a video from their Twitter account, and they was talking about how they accept No Quarter Catch Crew's challenge for next week on NXT. So they'll have a match next week on NXT, making their WWE return next week. Definitely can't wait for that. I'll definitely be talking about that. Look out for that. And then they said that Fraxium could get a front row seat. So yeah, that's what they was talking about there. Pretty interesting stuff. Definitely can't wait for next week's NXT. And yeah, up next will be the 6 women's tag team match as the main event. That match is up next. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Until then. So the next thing to happen on NXT, we get to the main event. It was the NXT Women's Champion Julia, the NXT Women's North American Champion Stephanie Vaquer, and Jordan Grace versus JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley Fatal Influence in a 6-women's tag team match in the main event of tonight's episode of NXT. Now we go to this match. In this match, it was a pretty good one. All the women's beating the hell out of each other, but then at the ending we see Jasmine Nix hitting a peg leg kick onto Jordynne Grace. She pins her, but only get a 2 count out of it because everybody starts going at it inside the ring, where we see Julia and Stephanie Vaquer going after Jacy Jayne and Fallon Henley inside the ring, going at it with them, and they get knocked out of the ring and everything, hit moves on each other. Fallon Henley hits like the pump handle suplex onto Stephanie Vaquer at one point. Julia takes out Fallon Henley, and then Julia and Jacy Jayne gets knocked out of the ring, and then that's when we see Stephanie Vaquer climb up the top turnbuckle, and she jumps off with a nice crossbody onto Jacy Jayne, Fallon Henley, and Julia outside of the ring, taking all of them out. And then we see Jordynne Grace going at it with Jasmine Nix inside the ring, and then she actually hits the Penta driver at one point onto Jasmine Nix, pinning her for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jordynne Grace, Julia, and Stephanie Vaquer defeated Fatal Influence tonight in a 6-women's tag team match. That's what happened there. I forgot what was her finish move called, but pretty much the Penta driver. But yeah, that's what happened there. For that match, I'll give it 3.5 stars. That's what I'll give it. I would say that was match of the night right there. But then that was not the end of the show, because at the end we see that group leaving out of the arena and stuff. And then we see Ava walking into the office, and we see Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, laid out in the office and everything. And then we see Stevie Turner and Ava walking in there, finding Robert Stone laid out in the office by that group of people. So yeah, that's what happened there, and that was the end of NXT for tonight's NXT episode. I'll give it 9.5 stars. That's why I'll give it. It was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it. But yeah, for tonight's, like I said, that's why I'll give tonight's NXT show. So yeah, that has been my WWE NXT February 18th, 2025 reviews. Like, subscribe to TNW Wrestling on YouTube, subscribe to my other channel, Word of Chris, and subscribe to this channel, Chris McDaniels, and follow me on all my social media accounts. They'll all be down there in the description box, and I'll see you guys later for tomorrow night's AEW Dynamite reviews. See you guys later. Till then.